7.2% from, I think it was 6.9 this outgoing year. Look, it's still below what we wanted and where we wanted to be. Remember, a few years ago, we were talking double-digit growth by 2020. This is 2018, and 2 years to 2020. We're still in single-digit growth, which is probably not where we want to be. But you should remember the slump we had in 2014. Was it 2016? 2014, I think. The time when we got 4.6% growth. That was a major slump in a decade span. So we've been seeing some kind of bouncing back from that point over the past 5 years. 4.6 to 5 point something to 6, and now we're talking 7. Finally, we'll get back to 8, which has been the average over some time. But the real deal should be, when do we get to double-digit growth? But back to your question, what are the key factors driving growth or likely to drive growth? You know, same usual suspects. You still have, services, which seems to be, because under services you have a lot going on. You have tourism, which is a service per se. You have the hotel business. There are a lot of things: entertainment, information and communication. People in the media. You guys, you're a big deal. So the services sector is going to continue driving because from the previous years, the services have been contributing the lion's share of GDP growth, then followed by agriculture, which is also doing well, but not so well because it's still reliant on a lot of natural factors. So you need to look at how do you cushion agriculture so that you can almost with certainty predict productivity from this sector. And that's where government is going to spend a lot of focus. I was looking at the budget. They seem to be focusing a lot of the finances on that area to ensure that agriculture is less reliant on natural factors so that they can predict it a bit fairly.
Maybe I would want you to dig deep into this conversation. We did see about $428 million as earned revenue from exports to the country from agriculture. Back in 2015, we did see 262, so that's a very big increase if you ask me. Now the country has embarked on a new research strategy that will improve agricultural production, just like I'm mentioning. So maybe how does a country like Rwanda, that has been suffering shortage of food production just about a few years ago, 2017 and 2016 on the same, how do they better harness such a strategy that they're putting into place now?
It's to do more of what has been working and do less of what has not worked. And for me, what we need to do in terms of agriculture is to continue irrigating. We need to invest more in irrigation. The World Bank is one of those development partners doing a great job on irrigation. You guys need to do irrigation stories. They're doing very wonderful jobs. In the current budget, they've budgeted some good money to focus on irrigation. Why irrigation? Because this is artificial water, providing water when there is a drought, making sure that your crops are watered when they should be drying. That is what has been causing food shortages in the past. Or sometimes it has been an issue of too much rains, which apparently is not the case anymore because of now the issue of climate change. Climate change is a big deal, and it will affect countries in so many unexpected ways. For example, when you can no longer predict rain patterns, your agriculture is in trouble. Because farmers won't know anymore when to plant and when not to plant.
Is this a problem of agriculture education in schools? Or maybe, because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to expect these farmers down in the village to understand all of this. But then you would expect someone that at least had
Actually, farmers do.
No, I mean, they had their patterns which they followed earlier on.
There's this natural inborn
instinct
of, and it's been working for so many years. It can only get support, technical support from the experts in government, because they have the technology to actually see through weather patterns to actually predict the future, which has also been failing us. And like I said, because no one knows, because climatic changes have put us in a situation where we can no longer predict climatic developments. And that's the trouble. So the conversation ultimately is an environmental conservation conversation. We need to address issues that are degrading the climate, putting us in a situation where we can no longer predict and plan with facts or aspects closer to the facts.
Talking about facts, we did an interview with the BK Tech House CEO, Regis, and he was talking about the Smart Ngunganire initiative, where they want to now get enough data for decision making for financial institutions, for mobile platforms like mobile money and all of that. Tell me, with this in place, how does it improve on the farm production?
It's a good initiative that BK Tech House is working on, because I know in their minds they basically want to digitize the farmer's lifestyle, the farmer's activity cycle. What you do from the time of planting or clearing the planting area to post-production, they basically want you to have data on the cycle of a farmer, so that from a planning perspective, you can just use that cycle to actually plan, to know what kind of input will the farmer need at this time, what will they need at this time. It's basically a data conversation, data on farmers, which is more reliable to basically better support farmers to get the most out of agriculture. And that ties in quite well with what the government is planning to do in the budget, because you see that in the rural development thematic area, they want to create, in the productivity area, they want to create 200,000 jobs